The speed of wind, s in miles per hour near the center of a tornado, and the distance d in miles, the tornado travels are related by s equals 95 log d plus 60. If a tornado's wind speed near the center is 345 miles per hour, approximate the distance traveled and include units. So first off, you want to write down the equation, which is s equals 95 log d plus 60. So since wind speed is s, and the question gives us the wind speed, we're going to plug 345 miles per hour in for s. So once we have our equation written down, we're going to subtract 60 from each side, and that leaves you with 285 equals 95 log d. And to get log d by itself, we're going to divide 95 off of both sides, and that leaves us with 3 equals log d. So to get the d by itself, you have to do the inverse of the log. And the natural base of a log is 10, so when you put 10 to the log d, it gets rid of the log, and it'll be d equals 10 to the third. And 10 to the third equals 1,000, so that's your answer. Distance equals 1,000 miles. So for the second question, it says, the antler spread, A, in inches, and shoulder height, H, in inches, of an adult male American elk are related by the model, H equals 115 log, parenthesis A plus 35 parenthesis, minus 172. And then it says, approximate the shoulder height of a male elk with an antler spread of 50 inches, then round the 2 decimal places and include units. And obviously, first we want to write out the equation, which is H equals 115 log A plus 35 minus 172. And since it says the antler spread is A, and then in A it gives you the antler spread, which is 50 inches, you want to plug 50 in for A. So when you simplify, 50 plus 35, that equals 85. And after you got everything plugged in, you just want to put that all in your calculator at once, and you'll get your answer. So once I plugged all of it in my calculator, I got 49.88 inches, and the problem is complete. This question also has a part B to it, and in part B says, approximate the antler spread of an American elk with the shoulder height of 58 inches and include the units. So first you want to write down the original equation, which is H equals 115 log A plus 35 minus 172. And in part B, it says that the shoulder height is 58 inches, and H stands for the shoulder height, so you want to plug 58 in for H. Next, you want to add 172 to both sides. And then when you add 172 to both sides, you get 230 equals 115 log A plus 35. And then you want to divide 115 off of both sides. And when you divide 115 from both sides, you get 2 equals log A plus 35. And to get rid of a log, you must use its base, which is 10, and then you would put 10 to the second equals 10 to the log A plus 35. And the 10 and the log would cancel out, leaving you 10 squared equals A plus 35. Then you're left with 100 equals A plus 35. Then you would subtract 35 from each side, and then A would just equal 65 inches, and you're done with the problem. The next question states, given theta equals 2 pi over 9, A, sketch the angle in standard position, B, determine the quadrant in which the angle lies, and C, determine one positive negative coterminal angle, and then D, determine a complementary and supplementary angle possible. So the first part says, sketch the angle in standard position. So I turned the radians into degrees to make it easier for me to find the angle. So 2 pi over 9 times 180 over pi will get you the angle, and the angle would be 40 degrees. Then I finally sketched the angle in standard position, and you have to remember to do the arrow that's in between the two lines to indicate which direction the angle is going, and you also have to remember the arrow. Then part B says determine the quadrant in which the angle lies. So quadrant 1 is the top right corner, quadrant 2 is the top left corner, quadrant 3 is the bottom left corner, and then quadrant 4 is the bottom right corner. So obviously the angle is in quadrant 1 because it's 40 degrees, and the end of quadrant 1 would mark 90 degrees. So 40 is in between 0 and 90 degrees, which means the angle lies within quadrant 1. And for part C, it says determine one positive and one negative coterminal of the angle. To find a coterminal, you either add or subtract 2 pi, and in my case, I'm trying to find a positive coterminal. So you would add 2 pi to 2 pi over 9, and you would get 20 pi over 9. Next, I'm trying to find a negative coterminal angle, so I would subtract 2 pi, and it would get me negative 16 pi over 9, and that would be my negative coterminal. The last part of the problem asks you to find complementary and supplementary angles. So to find a complementary angle, something plus something must add up to 90 degrees, which is the same thing as pi over 2 in radians. So 2 pi over 9 plus what angle would equal pi over 2? To find that, you would have to subtract 2 pi over 9 from pi over 2, and you would get your answer. And when you subtract, you find out that 5 pi over 18 equals a complementary angle. So next we have to find the supplementary angle of 2 pi over 9. And 2 pi over 9 plus what would equal pi? So pi is a radian form of 180. So 2 pi over 9 plus some angle would get us pi. And in order to find that angle, we must subtract 2 pi over 9 from pi. And once we subtract those things, we find out the supplementary angle would be 7 pi over 9, and that's your answer.